Yo, 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 what's good, YouTube? What's good? It's Stormybman, and I am back welcoming you to Answering the Bell with Stormybman, the call in. Man, it is great to be here for this Sunday afternoon. Morning, I'm sorry. I'm all over the place. August 29th, 2021. And we are already at the 7th show of the call-in. Great stuff. A lot of fan support here and a lot of family support here. Want to welcome everybody that's out there, man. We are here. And we're going to talk a little bit of boxing today and throw some subjects around and hopefully have an all-participating type conversation as we greet and meet one another this morning. I want to go to the chat right away and acknowledge some people who have come out to support the show this morning. We got my man Big Homie Coop out there. One of the very first, he says, salute Sifu, backsmack the like button. Class is in session, so pay attention. Yes, sir. And we also got a condo. Sami Hassan out there says, Sensei Stormy B Man, and he's also a channel member, y'all. That's right. We got Boxing and Barbecue out there saying, what's up, Stormy? What's good with you? The Queen, Tay Brown, is out there, says, Stormy B-Man, the Quiet Storm. That was a great conversation you guys had yesterday on your show, Tay Brown. I tuned in after you all had finished talking boxing, but I really enjoyed the discussion that went the rest of the way to close that show out. That's why I was in there to the very end, putting in my comments and everything. You sisters were doing a great job there. We got Kevin Dunbar out there. He says, salute Stormy B-Man, salute to you. And Tay Brown is saluting the chat. And Hamza S, channel member, is out there saying that Stormy B-Man and chat room salute. And 704 Joe is back. He says, Stormy B. He says, Sugar, my Shaw brothers. Yeah, man, what's going on? What's going on? But Kurt's not on here with me today, man. This is the Stormy B-Man answering the bell, my personal call-in show, man. So welcome. All the same. Eric R is out there, says, good morning, family. And salute to the Sensei B-Man. Trick Noti is out there. He says, good morning, Stormy, and salute to you in the chat. Salute to you, Trick. Hope you're doing good this morning. And we got PGH Big Dog out there saying, salute Stormy B-Man in the chat. Smash the like button. Yes, sir. And Brown on Boxing has come back again and says, salute at Stormy B-Man and the LDBC family. Yes, sir. Good morning to you as well, Brown on Boxing. And we got Daryl Alexander out there who decided to become a channel member. Listen, man, that's great stuff there, Daryl. Welcome to the family. And he's at the Shaolong level, the little dragon. That's right. I renamed the membership levels, and they are named accordingly. So when you guys check out, if you go to the main page for the members, you'll see that the levels are the same, but the names of the levels have changed. I put a bit of a spin on them with something that has incorporated some of my Kung Fu film background. I applied that to the names of the levels. So don't fret if you notice that it doesn't say what it once said, but just an adjustment on that. The prices are still the same, but it's a humorous take on the members who will be a part of the Stormy B-Man family. So welcome for everyone and those who have decided to do that. And that alert that you heard was Daryl Alexander's alert message that he has come in and he's chosen the Shaolong level, the little dragon. That's right. So we're doing good things out here. And I want to also remind you all that I recently, almost a week ago, went over 2,000 subs for the channel. So give yourselves a round of applause for supporting the channel and being steadfast and making sure that Stormybman climbs up the ranks. So much appreciation and gratitude to go out to everyone who's out here, particularly in the chat, because the chat is basically for subscribers only at this particular time. And you all have done a tremendous job supporting me in my endeavors of trying to bring the best of quality content to YouTube and to you listeners. So thank you again for your support. And with that, I can do many things and go further than where I am now, but it'll take time. But as you see, we're working and we're growing and we're doing all of this together. So thanks again, family, for making all of this possible. We have a couple more people that joined in. It said Mark Stearns is out there, says, good morning, Stormybman, King, and family. Good morning to you. And let's see, Big Texas, ATX Cletus Smith is out there, says, salute Sensei Stormybman and listening at work. Okay, that's good stuff, man. Thank you for listening in. We appreciate all of that support there. Sister Tay Brown was saying, oh, thank you so much, Stormy B. Yeah, you sisters were doing a great job, and I hope you keep on doing what you're doing and don't let anybody sidetrack you. That's good stuff, and we need to hear the voices of the women out there when they're talking about the sport, and also when you're talking about the subjects that you guys were covering on that show yesterday. Who else we got? Okay, the Big Texas ATX Cletus Smith says, let's get it. Yes, sir, we gonna get it. We gonna get it. Get right down into it. But the one thing about this call-in show is designed to give you all an opportunity to have, a more personalized conversation with me on the subject of boxing as we cover the sport, and we cover various events and talk about, the latest, news and things of that nature. And it gives you a spontaneous, on the spot, direct response from me, being able to interact with the phone call, and we talk about these things. One of the things we like to do is we want to make sure that we keep it clean and respectful. We're all adults here, so if you cuss a little bit, I'm not worried about that. But we do want to be respectful of one another out here. No foolishness, of course, because Stormy B, man, I do wear steel toes, and you know where those goes, right in the buttocks. Okay, so you come in here disrespectful, I know how to show you the door, just like Martin Lawrence. Get the stepping, right? But yeah, we are here today. Since we really didn't have any fights last night, and there will be some matches this evening, we can talk about the news and events and what's on the horizon, up into what takes place, this evening. But it's not limited to that. So if someone wants to call in and talk about, you might have a particular thought you want to get off your chest and share it with Stormy, and feel like you want to get my take on it or opinion on it or something like that, we'll be open for that. So again, smash the like button, as you come in here. I see we already have someone to thumb us down, and I ain't did nothing but introduce myself, show appreciation and gratitude toward the subscriptions, and greet you all. And someone decided to give us a thumbs down already. You know what that's all about. But see, this is exactly what I'm talking about. F+, get to the back of the class, and you're not a part of the class. So we don't have to worry about those types. But I do ask my wrenches and channel members on site. Stormy don't believe in timing people out. I believe in throwing them the hell out. Okay, because when we're doing this, we're doing it with the intent of seriousness and getting to our content and subject. We don't need the distractions. There are plenty other avenues that they can take to get to that road, but we don't welcome that here. Okay? We got Dill Spoolie out there, says, Stormybman, salute to you. King Corleone is back. He's saluting with the fist bump and the muscles. And Silvestrial is out there saying, Stormy, salute to you. Glad to see you back, man. So, yeah, King Corleone, you know what I'm saying? It's like, dude, all I've been doing for the past 10 minutes is greeting you guys. And if the person don't have an appreciation for that, they don't belong anyway. You know what I mean? So we don't worry about that. But just remember, wrenches and channel members on site is what you do. You understand? On site. And that's how we'll handle it. You know what I mean? Judge, jury, and executioner here. Judge, jury, and execution. I see my man JC has popped up in there. I got you, JC. And I appreciate you becoming a channel member as well. We had a couple of people do that recently. JC was one of them. I Am Trill Will is out there as well, coming in. What's good with you, Will? Good to see you this morning. And if you guys don't know, I'm sure you may have heard, but if you've been under a rock somewhere, we're trying to help I Am Trill Will get his subscriptions back up due to some difficulties that he has. So Trill Will, please put your link for your channel in the chat, and we will ask people to go and resubscribe to you, because I know that there are people who were subscribed, but they may have just forgotten about resubscribing. So put your link in there, Trill Will, and we'll have people come over as much as we can to help you get back to your position. Andrew Charles has joined us, says, salute Stormybman, salute to you. And Hamza says, Stormy, have you seen how JoJo Diaz is ducking Devin? Real sad the way black fighters are being frozen out by these so-called people of color. Hey, man, that's something that we can definitely talk about. And when I open up the phone lines, which I'll do in a couple of minutes, because we can get cooking on some subjects early, and that would be a great one. I would like to get some ideas off of you all out there and see what you think and feel about this, and we can discuss this. But hey, man, that great lead in for today's show, Hamza. Yeah, I did a video, and it's up on my page on Welcome to Black Murderers Road 2021. And in that video, I spoke about what's transpiring in these 2020s with the way boxing is being handled. And it is disproportionately going toward non-black fighters having the most of opportunities and gaining very little notoriety, because the way you gain the respect and notoriety and legacy is in the ring. But if you're denied the opportunities for that and being frozen out, it's not so much a duck as it is the reality of non-disclosure or, no access. You're not welcome. And that's what they're telling you. And see, this is why people need to get off of that thing about supporting their favorite fighter. Support the sport and call out what is wrong in the sport and hold the sport and its officials accountable. Okay? Because you see guys time and time again gaining opportunities, and the media cover them, and they talk about them that like they're the best thing since sliced bread, when you know that there are fighters out there better, okay, and have more talent, okay, and could easily defeat the guy that they're talking about. But when they don't mention him, don't talk about him as if he doesn't even exist, what happens is That's the freeze out. And so when they can use that same fighter that they're freezing out, they can use his name to help promote another fighter that they want in the game. They'll pretend as if that they're interested on the horizon of having these guys face off and whatnot. But the whole idea is just to use the black fighter as a stepping board. Okay? And then as soon as he gets to a certain level in the sport, they step away from him so that he doesn't have a chance at legacy, so that he doesn't have a chance at gaining some notoriety. Okay? So now these fighters who have become independent sometimes of promoters and they're doing their own promotion and things, they have to learn how to manipulate that and use it to their advantages. Yes, it may come about where they have to fight their own, but they can make the maximized amount of their salaries by facing their own and making the quality type deals. In the old Black Murderers role, some of the men fought each other 7, 8, 9 times, okay, multiple times. And that's how they made their living. Who wouldn't want to see Sean Porter fight Earl Spence Jr. a couple more times? Get a trilogy out of it, huh? Who wouldn't want to see Bud Crawford fight Keith Thurman 2, 3 times? Get a trilogy out of it. These men have to optimize what's before them and maximize their dollars. And there is a way to do this, okay? The sport wants to make money, but they can't make the best of the money if the best of the fighters aren't included in what they're doing. But if these fighters made their own circle, then they would definitely be invited to the dance. Remember, the Negro Baseball League had all those stars over there. And they said, man, we got to get some of that talent. Huh? They got some of that talent, and it got invited into national baseball. And what happened? Huh? Yeah. Same thing. We're going to see, let's see. I got you, JC. He says, I enjoy your content. I had to. Salute to you. Shepherd King is out there, says, yo, Stormy, how did you feel about the yard fight yesterday? Man, let me tell you about that yard fight. I saw that crap. Dude, that man wasn't even in there even trying. He came to lay down. Anthony Yard is officially a sham in boxing. I'm sorry. There may be people who like Yard and everything, but the Kovalev experience has made his handlers shun away from serious competition. And then when he lost that other fight that he wasn't supposed to lose, or maybe he was, because he's really not that good. Okay, he looks the part, huh? He's got muscles and everything, huh? But that don't win fights for you, man. You got to have some talent and ability. And on the world-class level, you can be embarrassed out there by a journeyman, okay? So they picked a guy yesterday who was willing to go down on cue, huh? That's what that was. That's what you saw. I've seen body shots take a guy out. But body shots that were like glancing blows, the kind that you get hit with in sparring, come on, man. That's not enough to stop anybody. So, yeah, I saw that, Shepherd King. And sooner or later, the UK fans are going to have to stand up and say something about that, because that was just really a fixed fight. Jay Gibson is out there, says, salute to Stormybman and the family. Salute to you, Jay Gibson. Trying to get some things together here. Oh, boy. Yeah. We got some more people that joined us. I am Trill Will saying, I'm changing my oil, but I'm listening in. Salute to the family in the chat. Okay, Trill Wheel, multitasking out there, brother changing the oil. That's good stuff right there. I used to change the oil too, man, but Stormy is like, nah, I'll pay somebody a couple of dollars to do it now, but it's always good when you can do that stuff yourself, man. Always. Trick Noty says, I recently reached out to JoJo Diaz's camp. I spoke to his manager. Hopefully I could get him or his team on these YouTube airwaves. Listen, man, that guy, he's changing over and switching like, a fish out of water, flopping on dry land. He just flops here, flops there. He's allowed the powers that be to convince him that avoiding a fight that was right there on the table for him against someone like Devin Haney isn't a good business move. It's a great business move because that's to maximize money he can make against one of the greatest talents in that weight class and division. But again, if he beats Diaz, what happens is the Diaz train stops. It halts altogether because he can make several fights currently against various opponents and win, lose, or draw. He can keep going. But once he gets in there and Devin does away with him, what will happen is people will say, well, he's really not that good. Well, guess what? The thing is, he isn't really that good, okay? And it's going to take a real talent to show that. Devin has talent. But again, what did I say a moment ago about them trying to freeze these guys out? You don't want that, but this is what you're experiencing in the sport. It has to be acknowledged. And the sooner that people acknowledge it, the faster that we'll get around this and we can overcome this problem. But a lot of people just don't want to hear the truth, man. They just don't want to. And that's a shame. So it's very much a shame. So let me see here. I'm trying to get some other things ready for you guys. I like to at times put the chat up on the screen for us right there. That's what I was trying to work to get. But yeah. So here we go. We got World Combat Sports is out there. He says, good morning, Stormy B-Man in chat. Salute to all. Salute to you, World Combat Sports. Good to see you out there this morning. Appreciate you stopping by. And people, don't forget to smash that like button on your way in. The OG Bruce Goals and channel member is out there. He says, salute Stormy and the family. Salute to you. And Hamza is saying, it's gotten to the point where fighters will pass on title shots. It just jumped up on me. And opt to fight lesser opponents because they don't want to lose to an A-level black fighter. Yeah. And see, when you recognize that, you have to speak that. It's not about your favorite guy or who you think is better. It's about talking about the real thing. And see, these sports analysts they're able to get away and hide because people are not holding them accountable as well. When you have people on the airwaves that can talk off of ESPN, like who we got over there? We got Tim Bradley and Andre Ward. Why aren't they stating the obvious? Huh? They got tape over their mouth when it comes to subjects like this, but then they could suggest that somebody doesn't box well, okay, and they need to go back to the gym and learn how to do. Okay, well, why don't you talk about this stuff, huh? Both men had close and up-close relationships with Shakur Stevenson, and the way they criticized him in his last match and everything, they had the young man apologizing for winning, huh? Despicable. What kind of foolishness is that? And these are the things that we talk about, you see? And we can hold people accountable. But I'm telling you, the media is part of that. They're definitely a part of that process, and you need to go after them when you talk about these things. Definitely go after them. So let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and put the call number up on the screen for you guys and start welcoming these calls in. Hamza says Munguia ducked Andre, Teofimo, and JoJo and Ryan ducked Devin. And he says Canelo's been ducking Charlo and Andre. Triple G's been ducking Charlo and Andre, etc. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's exactly what's been happening. SB Stay Sharp is out there. What's up with you, coach? He says, well said, OG Stormy B, man. Glad to see you out there this morning, brother. Hamza says, Anthony Yard equal model that occasionally boxes. He's not a fighter. Straight bum status. I wouldn't say that he's a bum, but he's not a high-profile fighter. He's not a world-class fighter. He's a journeyman at most. And he's in there. They're trying to find opponents for him that won't embarrass him because he's already been beaten up twice, okay, by people who shouldn't have beat him, but if he had something. The Kovalev fight was on the table for him. He was facing a faded Kovalev. And then he ran out of gas and got knocked out himself. That victory would have done a lot for him, but it's fortunate for him that it didn't happen as a victory because it gave him a chance to go back to the drawing board. And what they did with the drawing board is they took the drawing board not from the gym, but they took it from preschool. And so the guys that they got him in there now are such low class and quality, he's going to look good against them. But wait until he gets in there against a real hungry challenger who's at the level that they're trying to fool you that he's at, and watch what happens to him. It's that simple. We got Eric R. says, right, it's crazy how Bob watched $1 billion walk out his door and still operates like he is in the right, but not making fights. He had invested more in Floyd, Oscar, and Manny, and Mike, etc. Yep, Mikey Garcia. Sylvester says, Lioness, okay. Who's that? Okay. Oh, yeah. Talking about Yard. Okay. Everybody is saluting one another. The chat is moving kind of fast now. And I think I'll catch up with this comment here. Hamza says, Stormy B, man, these guys have to have their feet planted when they throw. They're stiff and their footwork is lacking. After a while, they figured out they can't beat brothers with certain attributes, so they duck. No, listen, it's always been a thing about athleticism over, lack of. Okay, that's always been the case. But what they have done is they've decided to shift in the paradigm that the black fighters have been successful for so long. And they're tired of that. It's like, the moment that you slip up and give them an opportunity to lock you on the outside, that's where they want to keep you. Okay? And some of these modern officials, like the Mauricio Suleiman and some of these others, they've come up with these ideas. Because you got people that sit up in what I like to call think tanks. And the think tank artists, their job, 24/7, 365, is to sit up and devise a plan that will always have them benefiting and coming out on top. And this is all a part of that process. Okay? That's why you can see that once Deontay Wilder lost his heavyweight championship, they didn't even want him to have a third fight, which they were contractually obligated to. They were like, oh, he should just go and, try to fight some other guys and let, Fury go on and do whatever he wants to do. When did that come into play? That type of ideology. Huh? This man reigned for 5 years and had 10 title defenses. So you're saying that he no longer is good? He shouldn't have the opportunity because he lost to come back and show that he can come back from a loss? When AJ lost to Andy Ruiz Jr., Hearn was talking about they're going to fight 3 months later. Huh? But that was a little bit different, only on the part of because AJ had all of the other titles. Hearn wants the leverage of being a guy that controls the heavyweight division with those titles. Okay, we got our first call in. Okay, we got 682 in the house. What's going on? 682, who am I speaking with? And thank you for calling the show this morning.
What's going on, Stormy? This is Jeff Smith out of Dallas. I was calling you to get your opinion on 3 different questions. Number one, if you were Earl Spence's, one of his top advisors, would you advise him to come back in box? Number two, do you think that the plotting and the planning on the younger black stars, if they continue to fight at their particular weight classes, do you think that it'll come to a point to where they have to let these guys in? And also, how long do you think that they're going how long do you think that they're going to be able to keep Anthony Joshua away from Deontay Wilder? And I'll take the answers out the air. I appreciate it, Stormy. Love the show. Your wealth of knowledge, and I appreciate you.
Hold on, don't go nowhere, brother. I want to keep you on the line with me for this. Don't
All
go
right.
anywhere. Let's deal with your first question, which was being an advisor toward Earl. What would be, the advisement, whether he should continue his career or stop it, or what? Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Well, the thing that I would like to do or like to see done, and I'm sure Earl will work toward this, he has to get the most honest and expert medical attention as possible. It doesn't have to be over for him, but he does have to follow through on what the medical people tell him. He has to stick with getting multiple assessments of where he is, not just have one doctor say, okay, you're ready to go back, or you're not ready to go back. He needs, just like he went to several different parties to get the original diagnosis, right? He needs to be consistent with that. Okay. And then if it's put to him on the table that it's 50-50, you could go in there and something can happen, and you can go in there and be successful or whatever. And this is the thing. He has to be able to think about where he wants to be with his future. You know what I mean? Because that's a personal decision. We've seen some people have to retire off of this situation. We've seen some people continue on with their career off of this situation. So it's different for different people. But if he follows all the protocols that the doctors give him, and he's able to get strong again and do what's necessary, and they green light him to continue his career, it's up to him. And that's not a decision that other people can make for him, including myself if I were an advisor or whatever, or just being a coach and trainer like Derek James is. You would want the best for what Earl wants for himself. And at the end of the day, fighters take risks in the ring every single time, whether they know they had a pre-existing injury going in or not. So the only thing that they can do is give them as much support as they can and speak about the seriousness of taking counsel like I suggested, and that be multiple party counsel, staying consistent, doing exactly what's being asked of him, and taking it from there. That is how I see that with Earl and his situation with that.
You know, because I feel like with the advancements in medicine, period, or overall, but that particular area is going to always be in danger in a fight. You know what I mean? It ain't like you can hide your eye And because it's worldwide news now, if I were to fight Earl Spence, I'm going for the eye. And, you know, he knows that, and I'm sure Derrick James will, you know, tell him that, hey, man, they trying to hit the eye. They're trying to blind you so that they can maneuver and everything like that. I just wanted to know your personal thoughts on it. But, I you know, fighters fight. And when you build your whole life around boxing and you still young or relatively young, he's going to want to go back. But, you know, and that's why I was asking your opinion. Because, you know, if it's my son and he done already made 10 million plus, it's time to lay it down, you know, because it's not worth your long-term health. But to put that on him and let him make that decision himself, I think that it could be disastrous. And I don't want to see that for him because, you know, he can only fight top-tier talent now, too. So it ain't like he can fight bums. You see what I'm saying? Then I just wanted to get your opinion on that. You know, what do you think about young Dale?
Okay, that's another question you're adding on, but I wanted to get to that second thing you had said, which was, do you remember?
Yeah, how long do you think that they can hold Devin Haney out? You know, if he can maintain, you know, staying at the lightweight division or, you know, 140, you know, staying with that pack, you know, because they all in the pack. They, you know, they all around the same age. They all are, you know, on their way to superstar status. I think Javante is already a superstar, but everybody else is on the fringe of that, you know, and they want to keep him out of that. You know, how long do you think that he's going to have to wait?
Well, this is the thing.
To get there.
This is the thing about that. When you fight, when you get active, okay, your performances will speak for themselves. And it really doesn't matter who you're fighting, because if you're in there regular enough and the fans are able to see you performing and being successful, people will start to clamor for seeing you in against somebody. One of the things that I loved about Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. when he fought was, though he was a world-class fighter in the lightweight division and then later super lightweight, junior welterweight, Julio fought frequently. And when he wasn't defending the title and he had voluntary defenses and then non-title fights, he stayed busy. What that did for him was two things. One, it kept his timing and sharpness up to par. And it also allowed him to take less punishment in the gym with sparring because he was in actual fights. See, when you fight regularly, the one thing that these young guys don't realize, and I have to say this, they can get mad all they want to, but this whole thing of fighting like once a year and maybe twice a year, that's not nearly enough time for them to get their timing down, to get their speed and everything adjusted and acclimated, and also to be fighting more regular. It doesn't give you an opportunity to gain unnecessary weight and things of that nature. We're seeing a lot of guys fighting at artificial weights. And when I say artificial weights, that means like a guy like, let's take the lightweight division where you have guys like Haney and Tank Davis and those guys down there, right? Now, that's 130, 135 pounds. Why is a guy 160 pounds, 170 pounds scaling himself down to 135? That's an unnatural weight class. That's an unnatural weight class. In the old days, guys would stay within 12 to 15 pounds of their fighting weight, okay, when they're active. So when you go in the gym and you start training for a particular opponent, you can start shedding, you change your diet and you can start shedding weight and everything within that first couple of weeks of training. If you're doing the things that you're supposed to be doing. And the body is taking less punishment. But that's called something that these young guys today don't know. You know what that word is? Discipline. Okay? Now, you got guys out here who enjoy the spoils of their success. They want the fancy cars and jewelry. They want the women and all of this stuff, right? Buying homes and multiple fleets of vehicles and all of that stuff. And they feel like, okay, I should be able to enjoy myself. But when you have a cat in your house and you keep that cat lean, if a mouse or an insect or something like that run across your floor, that cat gonna pounce on that thing right away. Huh?
Yeah.
But if you fed that cat table food and everything, and he got a little bit of a belly on him and stuff, he gonna go lay where the sun is beaming through the window in that sunlight on the floor, and a mouse can trample right over his tail, and he'll just look at him and say, "What's that?" Because he living the easy life, the fat cat. You see what I'm saying? So this is what you're seeing today with these guys, and the trainers can't talk to them. Some of the trainers are piss poor, but I'm just stating in a general sense that they don't let these guys know. Listen, man, there's 4 quarters in a year, calendar quarters. There's no reason why, and I said this after Tank Davis knocked out Leo Santa Cruz. Off of that stunning performance, he should have been back in the gym within 60 days. You know why? I'll give you 2 reasons. One, the discipline that he buckled into to get himself in the type of shape so he could perform at that weight class, and he performed admirably. You know, he had the knockout of the year. But you don't want to waste that work, okay? 2, you capitalize on the sensationalism of the performance. People want to see you again as soon as possible. But he didn't do that, did he? He went back into the rafters. And then they found another guy for him to beat in Mario Barrios. But off of the Leo Santa Cruz fight, if he had fought within 60 days, he could have taken on anybody. You know why? Because the timing was there, the confidence was there off of the last performance. You have something to build upon. These guys don't understand that and how it works. And therefore, they are really sitting ducks for someone to come and snatch that away from them at any time. Look at the tough fight that Charlo had against Montiel. Huh? That should not have been as tough a fight as it was. But how long had he been off? And in the meantime, what was he doing when he was off? You understand? This is what I'm talking about. And when you get guys like Devin, see, Devin is young, and what they're trying to do is just make it where maybe he'll just move on up to the next weight or whatever. But if I was advising Devin and Trill Bill, I say, listen, take him on the road, bro. Go outside the country and start fighting some guys from different places and whoop their behinds. Gain that worldly experience, okay? And as you ascend in the rankings, because they're going to have to move you, especially when you're successful, and you put the pressure on through your performances. All this talk about, oh, he's ducking me, he's ducking me, he's ducking me, that's just wordplay. That's no different than someone calling someone out and not fighting them, right? It's like, listen, my performances will speak for itself. I done knocked out this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy. Why? That guy been sitting over on the shelf for the past 3 months. I done fought 4 times. And especially if I get in a fight where it doesn't go any rounds. You understand? 2-3 round knockout, I'm back in the gym in a week or 2 weeks, and I'm back and ready to fight again in 30 days. Because I don't have to do all that sparring. My timing is there. My shape is there. My conditioning is there. I'm ready to go again. And you go to another country and whoop another guy's behind. That's the way it used to be done. They don't do that anymore. Because you know why? It requires work. But also,
do
when
you
you're
think
doing
that
these
it's
things,
easy?
you're focused. I'm sorry. Go ahead, bro.
I said, do you think it's even easier to do that as a champion because he's a champion?
You don't have to be a
just...
champion. Listen, fighting is a fight. Listen, if you tuned into a boxing match, two guys you ain't never seen before, but it's round 3. You don't know who's the champ and who's not. You don't know if there is a championship on the line. You're just watching a fight, right? At the end of the day, isn't that what you tune into boxing for? Or do you want to watch? Do you want to watch people brandish belts in the corners and flash them at each other for 12 rounds? Huh?
You're right.
Think about it.
But I'm saying because he's a champion, he can only fight a certain caliber of fighter.
No, he can have you heard me say it a moment ago. He can have non-title fights. He can have voluntaries. He can fight as much as he wants to.
Okay. Especially because of the ducking of the mandatories.
Listen,
because
he could throw a belt away. He could throw a belt away and fight 3 times before the end of this year. And what will the boxing people have to say about him? Damn, Devin got busy, huh? Yeah. And without a belt. So what's the next thing they're gonna say? Well, why don't so and so fight him? Why ain't so and so busy like him? Why ain't so and so doing what he? You see what I'm saying? How you can shift the mindset?
Okay, and that's how you force the people out the weeds.
Exactly. You get busy. Right. Listen, you go to work every day. You got a neighbor go to work across the street from you, neighbor down the block. But are you worried when you look out the door and you see his car still in the driveway and he didn't go to work today? Are you worried about that?
No.
Or you going to take care of your own business, right?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with boxing. But who's teaching these guys this? Nobody. Who's explaining it just like I'm explaining it? Nobody. So where's the value in all of it? Nowhere. So complacency sets in, and these guys sit on their fannies, and they don't do anything. This is why I can be toughly critical on them, because I recognize what they're doing, which is not much, and what they should be doing, which is a whole lot more. And at the end of the day, if they're getting it done, who can celebrate that? They can. If they're not getting it done, who's to blame for it? They are.
Okay, so the same thing will go with Deontay. He just need to fight more.
Huh?
I say so the same thing would apply with Deontay. Just keep fighting.
Deontay was fighting. Tyson Fury is the one that has held this thing up well over a year. Deontay was active. He was fighting a minimum of 2 times a year. A minimum. But this man has held his career up and the entire division, because people were also waiting around to see what was going to happen. Even if they realized that there was an arbitration happening, right, a hearing that didn't need to happen. They should have just fought the man. But you held up the whole division because people wanted to see where their position was going to be with this fight taking place instead of just fighting. Now they done let the man go, get adjusted to a new trainer. He's had 3 camps, almost 4 camps in the meantime, and has changed himself as a fighter. Changed his psychological aspect and approach. He's changed his physical aspect and approach, his mental. He ready.
Yeah.
They would have been better off trying to fight him 6 months after the second fight. That way they have a better chance at a victory, which everybody was picking anyway. Fury would get him again because he just can't handle fighting off the back foot and blah, 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 blah. But no, they don't let this man get some reschooling and retooling. Now you got a whole different beast to deal with. And this is not about vengeance and going out there, I got to get him because he got me. No. This man went back to the drawing board. I talked about it last night on my man Divine Sense Boxing. And I shared that stream that we did last night talking about this on my community page. When a man has had a chance to go back and reevaluate his mistakes and the complacency that may have set in and everything, and decides to rededicate himself, that's a different beast.
Oh, yeah.
Now, you had a third question, and I want to get to that one because, you had three good ones. And as you were speaking, I didn't write them down, but I wanted to know, what was the third one that you had?
Yeah, no, that was my last question. What do you think Deontay Wilder needed to do in order to get, that shot with Anthony Joshua? Because they hiding Anthony Joshua.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, you were saying, listen, Anthony Joshua got his own problems, brother. I have stated on the air several times that Anthony Joshua has not gotten any better since he defeated Prince Charles Martin. His skills haven't improved. He hasn't shown a variety of ways to do things better. He's the same old guy, with the exception of having lost in an upset with Andy Ruiz Jr. and avenged that loss by going in there with the guy who defeated him and taking advantage of the guy being woefully out of shape by not giving him a chance to even engage with him, staying away and everything. He didn't go in there and go knock out Andy Ruiz Jr. and say, now this is what was supposed to happen because he wasn't supposed to beat me the first time. He went in there and played Catch Me If You Can, I'm the Gingerbread Man. You understand? Is that a champion for you? Is that a real champion? No. But he did what he had to do because Andy couldn't catch him. Huh? If Andy was a slice of pizza or a sub sandwich, if Joshua, I'm saying, was a slice of pizza or a sub sandwich, AJ wouldn't have had a chance. But since he was just a big old 6'5" dude, Andy wasn't interested. 300 pounds, a sloth in there fighting a road runner. Huh? Come on. Don't be fooled by what they listen. You heard of 3-card Molly, right?
Yeah.
That game tricks people. And it's all sleight of hand, right? What the hell you think these promoters are doing with boxing, man?
Okay.
This is what they doing. They sell you stuff and they be like, it's good, ain't it? Ain't it good? It's good, right? It's good. And you finally break down because they saying it to you 100 times. Yeah, man, it's good. Okay, here goes some more. What? I don't buy into that, dude. I know what the real is. AJ is the one that will put the sport on ice because he ain't that good. And they want to hold on to those belts because that's power over the heavyweight division. If you're controlling the belts in the heavyweight division, you're kind of steering boxing. But what they're not doing is they're not keeping the guy active because he's so vulnerable. If you put him in there with somebody, almost anybody could get him out. So it's like what they're going to have to do is figure out who's the next guy they want to have after him. Then they'll put him in there against that guy. That guy will become the new guy, and then they'll do the same stuff. But I said this a long time ago. I said AJ is going to mess around. He's not improving. Remember, he's still got the same funky people around him. Danny Dubois has made some changes. And my man that's coming up, watch out for him, Joshua Buatsi. He came to the U.S. and got a U.S. coach, just like Lennox Lewis did. He going to be all right. And he didn't wait until he lost the fight to do so. So he's on a greater trajectory already. But see, AJ don't want anything to do with Western training and coaching, even though it's the best. And I'm not saying that to put what's happening in the UK down. I'm just saying it simply for those who have come across the pond and look to make adjustments. How much better has it helped them and their careers? The Klitschko's did it. Huh? Lennox did it. And they had that type of success they showed in the ring. AJ is so vulnerable. He done messed around that these other guys have gotten good enough, and a lot of them are going to be mandatories very soon for those belts he has. And he has, what, 4 of them? The IBO, the WBO, the WBA, and there's one more. IBF. So when you look at it, you got the real big baby, Jared Anderson. You got Effie Ajaba. You got Usyk. You got Dubois. You got Joe Joyce. That's about 5 guys right there that can become number 1 contenders for any of the sanctioning bodies. Think about that for a moment. So if he want to continue to try to avoid Deontay, well, there's some younger lions out there that's chomping at the bit, ready to bite him right in his greasy, oiled behind, huh? And it ain't gonna be pretty. You heard the reports that F.A. and Jared Anderson was beating the crap out of Tyson Fury in training. So those guys are on the cusp. You heard the stories that Dubois had him down in the gym when they were training together. AJ's time is borrowed, bro. And those guys got control of the sand to the hourglass. It's ticking for him. So he can run away from Wilder all he wants. But he gonna run right into a hot skillet with oil, fish grease in there for him. And Wilder, remember, he has changed himself. So what better way, if they don't want him to become undisputed, right? What better way for him to shift his focus and say, you know what? I'm going to go start knocking off these young dudes. Boom. There you go. And he's capable of doing it.
Okay.
So you're talking about a paradox for AJ. RIP to the brother, because he's going to get it very soon. He's so busy trying to run from one responsibility, and that's what this is, 4 years now that he's been running away from Wilder? And he got a guy that he ain't assured the defeat in Usyk on the horizon. So it's like, man, I love it. I love it. Because even if he gets past Usyk, look at all these other guys that I just named. They're right there ready for him. You think he ready for them?
And all of those guys are way better than Usyk.
Exactly. This is what I'm saying, bro. So he done messed around and put himself in, he done dived out the airplane and the ripcord broke on his parachute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Last question, if you can get this in. How high of a ceiling do you think Keyshawn Davis has? The Olympian.
It depends on his work ethic. It depends on his mental approach and what he wants to gain out of the sport. Remember, some guys are just happy to make some money, man. You know what I mean? And that's where we are in today's society. In the old days, when guys were broke and everything, they were fighters first. And money was nice, but they still wanted to prove that they were the best. Okay? Even if it meant, I had to get knocked down, dropped, or whatever, or even took a loss and I wanted to come back. That is something that's different from today. There's a lot of soft guys out here, man. Your favorite fighters, they're soft, which is why they don't want to challenge themselves. Remember, this is a society. I don't know how old you are, brother, but think about it. This is a society now that has been raised on, participation trophies in life, huh? Where you're graduating from first grade to second grade. What? You either pass or you fail. What do you mean graduating from first grade to second grade? And everybody gets a trophy. I thought those who accomplished something got a trophy. Huh? There was a such thing once called extra merit, extra credit. But now everybody gets a pat on the behind. Oh, because you participated, here's your little ribbon. No. The reason that the trophy existed, it was something for you to shoot for. And that meant that everybody wasn't going to get it. The hardest worker, the most accomplished, shot for it. And they got it. And then everybody else had to eat crow. But then
Yeah, that's
someone
when it
who
was
really
only one
wanted that
trophy.
trophy would buckle down, and the next time they were going to try harder. I'm getting that trophy next time.
Yeah,
We're living in a society where guys didn't grow up under that, man. They grew up with their mama saying, "My honey ain't never did nothing to nobody. He was never wrong. He back there breaking people's windows and stealing out of their cars and stuff like that."
Mm-hmm. And getting caught on tape.
Yeah. You're right. Now with cameras everywhere, that's him. That's your son right there. That ain't my baby. That's your son right there running through the alley, and the cameras from the city caught him on the streets. That ain't my baby. He was at home with me. The parents is lying for him. So you need to lock him and the parents up. So these guys become professional fighters. What do you think they're doing in their careers? The same crap. BSing their way through what they're doing. Yeah. So he can be as good as he wants to be, but how high and how lofty will he set the goals for himself? That's what, and see, we can't answer that. That's why I can look at certain guys and I can say, okay, I want to keep my eye on him. And then other guys, I'd be like, he ain't gonna make it. He ain't gonna make it. And that's the worst part of it, because when other people see certain things, oh, the hand speed, his footwork, yeah, but dude, he got poor character. Yeah, but he great though. Look at how much punching power he got. I'm like, but dude, he got mental issues. No, man, but you just don't understand, you know. And then he comes apart and he done shot his coach, and then he done raped a girl, and he done did it. You see what I'm saying? It's like, Stormy, how did you know? I'm like, because I was looking at the right things. You looking at the wrong things. That's like a guy driving down the street looking at a girl's fanny in a tight dress, and he crashed his car. What's more important, the fanny or the street with your eyes on the road? And how many people you know have done stuff like that?
Too many.
You got to be disciplined, man. Mm-hmm. When I say these things, I don't say them because I'm just blowing smoke. This is the real deal here. This is real. And if you don't have no one to keep it real in your life, you can veer off track at any time.
You know, and that's why I feel Devin Haney got a real shot at being the next guy, because he don't got, well, his dad is not a yes man, and he gonna give it to him straight, and, you know, gonna try to put him in the best position in order to win.
But his dad has got to do something. His dad has got to do one thing that can put them in a better position, and stop trying to be the guy to go to war with everybody and get his son busy. Start getting his son some damn fights, even if it requires he get out of here, get out of the U.S. and go fight somebody. You could sit up and say, see how they ducking me, see how they ducking my son, this and that. You could say that all day long, bro. But get busy and go on the road. Go to Argentina. There's some hella fighters over in Argentina. Go to Australia. Tim Tszyu is over there. Go over there and fight some guys on those cards over there. Get busy. When people see that you're fighting and you're winning, you're successful, they're going to have to respect what you're doing. But they ain't got to respect you doing nothing if you're just sitting in the gym, hitting on the bag, talking about, yeah, man, and don't nobody want me. I don't want you, fool, because you ain't trying to do nothing.
You know, do you think that it's just that he's trying to get the most out of each fight and not willing to take that, I would say, a relative pay cut in order to get more active? Because, you know, what you're going to get to fight Tank Davis, you're not going to get that fighting in Argentina or wherever.
Listen,
but
man,
the experience that you're getting.
It's just like Marvin Hagler said when he was fighting Tommy Hearns. Tommy Hearns said he had hurt his finger. Marvin Hagler said, for $2 million, I'll cut that sucker off. You understand? You either want the fight or you don't. If you whoop the dude's butt, the respect comes with you whooping his butt. And then the other kind of respect comes after you whooped his butt. They have to pay you now. You understand?
All right.
So you worry about making as much as he made, or he's making more than you. but you whoop his butt. Now who becomes the man?
Okay. Yeah, and you know, too, I didn't realize this until after you said it, but the way to get an international following is to take your show on the road as an American to gain that respect in the Philippines, just the world abroad. You know, because if you're a fight fan in England and you get to see me 2 or 3 times, you can respect me, and now you following me wherever I go, and not necessarily just having an American fan base.
There you go. And if you whoop guys on foreign soil a few times over, right? You done fought twice in this place, 3 times in that place, a couple times in this place, once in this place. People know who you are. You beat one of their favorite hometown guys. So when you're fighting on Showtime or HBO or pay-per-view, they'll tune in. Oh, this the guy that beat our guy, man. Let's check him out and see what he's doing. You see what I'm saying? You see how that works?
All right. All right. All right. Yeah, because
these people don't realize how to do this, man. Listen, you can't reinvent the wheel. It was done already. The only thing you can do is make better treads for the tires and the pavement. That's all.
Okay. And that's where being a superior fighter come into play, because when you take that show on the road, you know you down 2 rounds before the fight starts, and you got to get them out of there anyway.
Well, see, listen, let me correct you something on that. Don't think of it as like you're on the road and you're down 2 rounds or whatever. And fighters shouldn't think like that. Fighters should think like this. I got to go in here and get the job done. I'm not coming over here to play cards, okay? I'm not coming over here to close down the bars. I'm coming over here to lay hands on this guy because this is how I feed my family. And with more success added to my efforts, I go out there and I'm able to achieve an even greater opportunity to make even more economic empowerment with my efforts. People are against you when you're born into this world and they don't even know you, brother. You worried about that?
No.
Are you worried about, I already got strikes against me already? So what that mean you supposed to do, go sit down and cry?
Yeah, you got to work even harder because you know that's what it is.
No, you just got to go out there and do the best you can do for you. You ain't got to worry about what nobody else think or whatever. And if you're damn good, it's going to show anyway, ain't it?
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
Remember, we're born into a system. But most people don't realize there is a system. And when there is a system in existence, you have to realize someone devised that system. So in order to break the system, you have to think outside of the system. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I appreciate your time, Stormy.
Yes, sir, man. Call back anytime. I appreciate your call. We got a chance to cook on some things there, and I really appreciate that. So don't be a stranger, all right?
All right.
Peace, bro.
Peace.
Man, that was a tremendous call right there, man. And that, what a way to kick the show off. That was some really good stuff right there. I appreciate that. Yeah. This is what it is, man. This is what it is. Yeah, Mark Stearns, he said, give somebody else a chance to call in. Appreciate you, man. And appreciate the brother Trick Noty out there. He says, Winky Wright used to do that. He fought on the road. Yeah, he ain't the only one. There's a lot of men that fought on the road. A lot of men. Huh? And that's what it's about sometimes. That's what it takes a lot of times. You got to do that. You know, Producers TV out there, he says, true, we believe in these fighters a lot more than they believe in themselves. Today's time, and that's why we miss Mayweather, Pacquiao, Roy Jones, etc. By the way, Stormy, who you got? at 154. Prime Floyd versus Roy Jr. That ain't gonna happen. Never would. It's not even a fantasy fight, bro. Who we got here? Okay, we got 708 in the house. What's going on, 708? Who's calling? And welcome to the Answering the Bell with Stormy B, man. What's going on?
Hey, what's happening, my brother? This is Mark Stearns, man. How you doing?
Hey, Mark, how's it going, brother? Glad you made it in there. I know the brother before was a little long-winded, but I like to give people a chance, just like you're going to have yours, bro. Welcome to the show.
Listen, more importantly, I wanted to make sure that I said what's up to my neighbor because, you know, I live in South Shore, so I'm right in the area.
Oh, okay. That's what's up, man. Chi-Town, stand up.
Yeah, that's right. Chi-Town in the building. But listen, I just wanted to say, you know, we're in a situation right now where we have watched Anthony Joshua dodge the smoke for years, and they continue to allow him to get away with it. I mean, it's ridiculous. I'm to a point now where, you know, I was getting frustrated with boxing.
I know, but did you hear? Did you hear how I broke that down about him with the previous caller? And I said what the paradox he's found himself in now. Were you able to hear that part?
You were so much on point. I almost said, well, I guess my call is unnecessary now because
no, it's
my
not.
man just broke it down so tough.
No, but hey, and listen, I can always expand upon it, but this is the thing. You think about it like I broke it down. I bet ain't nobody ever presented it that way. Nobody. I'm talking about even some of the other content creators or whatever. When you say that Josh was so busy running from Wilder that he gave these other guys opportunity to develop. Now he in a sea of sharks, okay? He's in a sea of sharks with a bloody leg. Huh?
Exactly. Yeah. He's been in the witness protection program for so long that
his phone number and address got slipped out to the public.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Hey, listen, Stormy, I'm gonna be at the Wilder fight. You gonna be there?
You know what? No, I won't be there. And for two reasons. One, I wasn't interested in going to the fight to begin with. I'm not. And then now, after what Fury pulled for the July date, I'm not confident that he's going to be there for this October date.
Well, that's true.
I just, you know what? He has shown me, and this is what really stinks about old media. They won't talk about his transgressions, and they are many. Okay, there are many, but his career, he has not been a stand-up individual. So he's only doing what he does. Okay, so when you talk about this fight that's supposed to be on the horizon, this man may pull out at the 11th hour.
Well, he's never defended the title ever.
Right. So, and he may never have any intent of doing it. It may seem wayward. It may seem backwards. It may even seem unconscionable. But listen, man, Maya Angelou once stated, and it was so eloquently put, and I give her the credit for saying it. She says, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time.
Believe them. Absolutely. Behavior is the truth.
Yes.
Behavior is the truth.
So that's what it is when it comes to that guy. You know what I mean? And it's like, dude, it's ridiculous, you know? And so salute to anybody that goes to the fight and the fight comes off. But I don't have any more confidence in that guy. And it's not that I don't want to support Deontay Wilder, because I do support the brother. I support him whether he's boxing or not. I made a decision of liking him from the moment that he had that interview with Radio Raheem, and he said that situation there, and then I think that's when the powers that be went against him. Once he said that,
Man.
that's when the powers that be went against him. They was like, oh, he's trying to be one of those, you know, and the cards start getting stacked against him. And he may not have realized the target that he put on himself, but I respect the target that he put on himself because
he did it just like a 10 toes down.
Let me finish 1 second. The reason why few are great is because there are very few who take that opportunity to take the sacrifice for being great. You understand? That's how that works.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But listen, man, I support the channel. I support you. I support the LDBC. And I will be joining the channel and continuing to support you, man. Much love, respect. Continue to do what you're doing. And I'm out.
Oh, man, I appreciate you, man. Thanks for your call. And don't be a stranger. Call back again. We need you out here, bro. Appreciate you, man.
Oh, yeah. All day. Appreciate you, too, man.
All right. Peace. Man, that was my man, Mark Stearns from 708. He's out here near the Shy with Stormy, man. That's what's up. Family supporting family. Love it, love it, love it. But yeah, that question that was asked about, you know, Floyd Mayweather and Roy Jones Jr. Listen, man, Floyd was the best of his generation. Roy was the best of the decade. And their weight classes were never close enough for them to compete. And there were two different types of talents and two different types of men and fighters. So it's like, hey, man, not even in a fantasy type matchup. That would be like saying, yo, Henry Armstrong against Joe Louis. Huh? Come on, man. Don't do that. So, yeah, who else we got out there? See, the chat is moving right along. We got a lot of people out here, man. It says we got 50 people watching, but don't nobody else want to call in? Come on, the number is right up there on the board. It's 773-242-7254. I know you guys got more to talk about than what we just covered, man. There's so much you can talk about in the sport of boxing. So let's get it done, man. Somebody call on in. Let Stormy B-Man hear what you got to say. Got some questions, you got something you want to share, speak your mind, go off on something that's happening or not happening in the sport. Let's hear it, man. Let's see, we got many people. We had Batman out there in the chat. Salute to Batman, John Page. I see you out there, bro. I hope you're still out there. Dre Finest is out there. David Scott III. Bruce Goes. DP Rocker. Who else we got? SB Stay Sharp. That's my man, the coach. SB Stay Sharp. Mr. Pac-Man 216 says, salute big dog. Slide Encounter is out there. Yes, sir. Who else we got? L-Dub showed up in there. He says, what's good? What's good with you, L-Dub? And you guys talking about Roy Jones and Floyd Mayweather got me cracking up here. Bowley was out there. He says, Eddie wants the belts there in England. I don't blame AJ for the ducking because I don't think he's in control of who he fights. I think AJ is content fighting whomever they put in front of him. And you can bet that usually whomever they put in front of him should be someone he can handle. But every once in a while, because he's such a vulnerable dude, you're going to see someone do something that they weren't expecting. And that's called upset. Yep. We got Renee Box Young in the house. I see you out there, Renee. Good to see you. Ghost Bomb Squad is out there as well. Salute to you. And what else we got going on? Mark Brooker is out there. He said, salute my shy brother, one of the realest. Yes, sir. Slide Encounter says, Sergio Martinez had to fight internationally also. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Andrew Charles says, I don't think the fighters today got the heart to go on a world tour like that. Well, they don't have the heart. They don't have the balls. They don't have the smarts, you know, so they'd rather sit up and say, don't nobody want to fight me, huh? They all ducking me, huh? Let me write it on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Let me write it on there. Don't nobody care, man. Don't nobody care. And they really ain't gonna care as long as you doing foolishness like that. But if you get on that damn airplane and start traveling and fighting, they'll be there for you. I guarantee you. Okay, we got 214 in the house. 214, who are you? And welcome to the show, man. Answering the bell with Stormybman. What's good with you?
Peace, 704 Joe from Dallas, Texas. Peace to gods and earth vibes to the nation. Peace, Stormy B.
Hey, peace, 704 Joe. What's good with you, man? Welcome to the show this morning.
Man, I love the show, man. This Fury and Wilder thing, man. It's not going to happen. Fury said himself, "I would never fight Wilder again." So why we can't believe that, man? Why we can't? He told us he's not going to do it.
Hey, man, he made a believer out of me when he pulled that crap back in July, man. Listen, let's talk about that for a moment. He pulled out of that fight. They found a way, right? They used C-19. Let's just say it for what it is. They used that. But it turned out to be a freaking lie. And this is the worst part of that. This is the worst part. Regardless of the Wilder camp, we're not even talking about that, okay? But old media have not held him accountable for lying. The man was seen in public taking photos at car dealerships and stuff. He's been to carnivals. He went back to his own country where the C-19 is really bad. Over there, they on second lockdowns and whatnot. And he's out there in the public with no mask on and everything. And he's doing this. And remember, he said that Vegas was his home now. But he left. He just up and left. And they lied saying that the people in his camp, the C-19 ripped through the training camp and everything. But nobody had it. Nobody. Effie didn't have it. Jarrett didn't have it. Sugar Hill didn't have it. I say, so if everybody don't have it, why did you say it? And if you said it, why isn't old media holding him accountable for it? And so with all of this stuff that has transpired, right?
Yeah. What
gives you any sense of resolute that this going to come off in October?
No.
If old media had addressed it like they were supposed to, it would be pressure for it to come off in October. But remember, they didn't. They didn't hold him accountable. They didn't tell us publicly, this guy lied. He used this as an excuse to get out. They didn't say any of that. None of it.
Don't saw a positive test. Never. We never saw the test.
No.
And if he was sick, he couldn't get back on the plane and go back overseas.
Thank you. And how about this? How about this? Bob Arum, who is his American promoter, right? Bob Arum was talking about, well, I saw him, I went to visit him and he was doing better today than he was the other day when he got the diagnosis. Bob, you 2,000 years old. What are you doing going around somebody who allegedly has this? You think that an old senior like that is going to go around with somebody who has this deadly virus? You must think I was born yesterday.
That's crazy.
Dude, they've done nothing but lie to the public. Nothing but lie to the public. And where is the accountability? Where are the people who could stand up and say, hey, man, this is all bullshit. This is a sham. Nobody. But they want to sit up and talk about Deontay because he showed up at the presser, the one and only presser, with headphones on, shades, and wouldn't talk to them. This is why he don't want to talk to you. You asinine people, you come up here and you want to Allow this man free reign. Fury can walk through the audience and pull his wick out and start peeing on everybody, and they'll say, wow, look at the rainfall that he's creating. Huh? And it's like Deontay can sit up there in silence, and they'll say, what's his problem? He's not being professional. He should be doing this, and then why isn't he doing it? You see the double standard? It's freaking ridiculous. And if you're not upset about it, you should be. How many people lost money preparing for that event? How many? People had set their vacation times up. They were all ready to go. That city lost millions, if not billions of dollars for that event.
You know what's ironic, Stormy B? Earl Spence shows his doctor report, and then he gets thrown through HELL for showing his report.
Absolutely.
It's crazy.
Absolutely.
It's backwards, man.
But this is the kind of foolishness that I speak of. And I say, you know what? When you all get tired of them kicking you like rocks, as Bob has been known to say, fans are like rocks. You could kick them in any direction you want. He said that. Yeah. When you all are tired of that, you're going to stand up. You're going to say no more. You're going to write the people you need to write, cuss them out, whatever, and you're going to walk away from this sport and leave them high and dry when you get tired. But I guess you ain't tired yet. Everybody that talked to me about this fight in October, I said it ain't going to happen.
I said it. I said the same thing, man. It's not going to happen, man.
It's not happening.
I mean, even Wilder should know it's not going to happen, but it's good he's training. Because, man, I mean, Fury showed up at, his camp, 40, 50 pounds overweight, getting knocked out by a sparring partner. He knew he wasn't going to fight. He knew it.
Yeah. And I want to take a quick moment and say salute to my man Snacks B out there with that super chat. He says, salute big bro Stormy B, man, in chat. I'm dropping in and showing some love to the family. I appreciate that, Snacks B. I know I was talking for a moment there, but I still wanted to acknowledge your super chat, man. I really appreciate that. And I
just want to say I appreciate the show, man.
Hey, man.
Love the show.
And salute, one more salute to SM out there. He says, Stormy B, salute my G. What's good? Man, what's good with you? But yeah, man, you know what? Listen, I'm glad you called in. I'm glad you like the show. That's what this show is for. It's for us to be able to have some banter back and forth. This is not like me, like knowing so much and nobody knows what I know. It's not that at all. It's a chance for interaction. You know, I do this content on my channel, and for people who like the boxing talk that I bring forward, it gives you a chance to talk with me one-on-one through a call in, you know, and we can do this and go in depth on certain subjects. But I'll tell you something. If the fight between Wilder and Fury takes place in October, great. But I don't expect it to, because this is not what we have learned to expect from Tyson Fury. We've always known him to not be a stand-up individual. We've always known him to be crooked, a cheater, a deceiver, okay, and a person that you just cannot be upfront with. It's like there's nothing about that. When he calls himself the Gypsy King, it has a whole new meaning now, doesn't it? People thought it was a snappy little moniker, but I never thought that he thought that. He chose that alias for a reason, and he has lived up to it more than any other fighter outside of Evander Holyfield living up to the real deal. Huh? Think about it.
Yeah. It's kind of like this is say Stormy B, somebody you was growing up with, and y'all was fighting, and he was getting the best of you. And then somebody broke the fight up, but he's not going to run it back because he got you. He ain't going to ever run it back.
Right.
He ain't going to ever run it back. He got you, man.
And it's going to turn out, as time goes on, it'll turn out that I knocked him out. They had to carry him away. And, it's like I was beating him so bad they had to bring the police in. And it's going to turn into all kinds of other stories that didn't even have nothing to do with what actually took place. And isn't that what's happening with this fool?
Yep.
They've gone from saying that Not only did he beat Wilder in the second fight, they're saying he won the first fight. This is like they're saying that he beat Wilder in the first fight. Dude, he was freaking knocked out. He was knocked out.
Long count and everything.
To hear them talk about it, he won the first fight, the second fight, that Wilder ain't got no skills whatsoever and this and that. It's like, it's amazing how this stuff has shifted. And they gave him rounds that he didn't even win. They gave him rounds for not doing nothing but holding his hands behind his back and waving his hands and stuff like that in the air, but still taking punches to the belly and to the face by Wilder. So how was that securing rounds, putting rounds in the bank, and Wilder's pressing the action and hitting him? You must think I'm stupid. And they do.
All right, man. I'm going to sit back and listen, man. Love the show.
All right, bro. I appreciate your call, man. Thanks for calling in. Don't be a stranger. Please call again.
Oh, yeah.
All right, peace.
Oh, I won't. I'll be here next Sunday, man.
Okay.
Peace.
All right. Man, I tell you, we can talk about this till the cows come home, man, but you know, it's like, it doesn't get more real than what we're talking about when it comes down to this guy being a sham in the sport of boxing, Tyson Fury. No, it's unacceptable. Unacceptable. Eric R. says, boxing is the only sport that is still living in the 50s and 60s. When it comes to blatant racism from people covering the sport, no subliminal, they show you exactly what they feel of people with color. Can't deny that. But that goes back before the 50s, I'll tell you that. Since time. Renee Boxian says the score needs to be settled in the trilogy, but I just doubt that it will happen. It's unfortunate, man. This may be one of the most expensive lessons to be taught to the public as well as fighters in general, and personally Mr. Deontay Wilder, because all he was trying to do was give someone an opportunity to be the best that they could be and challenge him as the champion that he is. And this is the fallout as a result of that. Very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Let's see what else we got here. Salute to the brother Teddy Fresh out there. He said, it's September in a couple of days. Is Fury even training? The fight is October 9th. He's going to retire. If he fights, he's going to get destroyed. Well, we know that about if he fights, but I do believe he's going to opt to take that arbitrator's ruling. Either fight Wilder or retire. He's going to decide at the last moment. Watch. He's like, you know what? I've had all these problems and this and that. He's like, I'm not mentally right for fighting. I think I'll just retire. And he'll walk away for a duration and then come back and try to fight someone else in another type of situation. He'll let the Wilder fight go off into the sunset. You know, and I think that was his MO the entire time. He knew he had an obligation, but he has no intention of meeting that obligation. He could have went on in there in July 24th and got his head knocked off, gave Wilder his recompense, and retired after that. But that's not what he wanted to do, because he wants to march to his own tune. He wants to write his own ticket, so to speak. But there's nothing to respect about this man. Nothing. Yo, 347. We got the brother Drew Titan in the house. What's going on with you, Drew? How you doing, bro? Welcome to the show.
The star people had to check in. You know that.
What's good with you, man? Welcome.
Yes, sir. Welcome, man. I feel good, man. I couldn't wait to call in, man. Couldn't wait to call in, man. It's raining out here. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting well. I'm a little under the weather, but I'm all right. Now, I mean, we still gonna rock later, but we're gonna talk now also. We're gonna talk now. So freestyle.
That's great, man. We had rain here this morning. It was raining like cats and dogs. It stopped now, but it was doing it earlier.
Man, weather don't stop this. Weather don't stop what we do. Weather don't stop what we do.
You're right.
Unless they knock out a power line, for real.
Hey, look here, I'm wearing some more of my apparel today, Drew. Can you see it? I got my Stormybman fleece with the logo on there.
Yes, sir. That's what's up. Y'all, everyone gotta go pick that up, man. We're gonna support one another, no doubt.
Exactly.
So let's talk. Let's talk. First and foremost, I hope everybody's wrong, and I hope he does show up October 9th. I'm already invested.
Yeah, you know what? And when I say that, Drew, I don't say it as, hoping it doesn't. Because I know some people will probably want to try to interpret it that way, right? They'll be like, yeah, well, Stormy, he doesn't think it's going to happen. He doesn't want the fight to happen. No, that's not that. I'm going on this man's track record of how he's behaved. And he's always veered left when he was supposed to go right. Even if going right was a path, he made a beeline off of path. And that's what he's done. And that's what I don't like. I don't respect it, but I acknowledge it now. So he ain't going to get me. You understand? If he is in the ring on fight night like he's supposed to be, great. Let Deontay have at him. But that's not who he is, and that's not what he's done. So if he did do that, he would definitely be going against the grain.
Well, to add to that, because you're 100% correct, to add to that, we know that's not who he is because that's what he's shown us. But isn't it amazing how American media doesn't even point that out?
Right. I mean, that's what I was saying to the last caller. I was saying they have spent so much time not saying the things that they need to say. This is why the entire public is like that. I won't say they give them a pass, but they're not concerned with the things that they should be because they haven't been informed. It requires us to do the informing. And of course, because we haven't been around as long as the old media trained, some people will take what we say with the so-called proverbial grain of salt. Even though we have actual contact with people who have inside information and whatnot, they still don't want to respect that. And that's what's really bad.
They brush us off and call us conspiracy theorists.
Yeah.
We're like the InfoWars, that guy. They try and brush us off as that guy. But like you said, we have inside information, and a lot of people outside of Deontay's entire team, we talk to a lot of guys behind the scenes. They're just tired because what Deontay Wilder what he's going through, it's not new behavior. It's just now in a position where social media is putting old media on Front Street. No longer do we have to wait every month for Ring Magazine or KO Magazine. And by the time we get the news, it's 2 to 3 months late. And then looking back at it, it's like, who the hell was writing an article with an agenda? I question everything now. Now I question everything. And even with social media now, you still got guys out there with the Steve Kims of the world, the Rick Glases and Kevin Iolis. They still, they got degrees in what they do. They know how to manipulate words and manipulate people. And then when you add to the fact that people have a preconceived notion about a particular fighter, you have a recipe for disaster. And no one cares but us. All we want is the fight. I put out a video last night with this Usyk and Joyce situation. I was reading what I think Joe Joyce is his manager. His name is Sam Jones, I believe. And he said that Usyk did everything to get out of the fight. And I'm like, that's not accurate. That's not accurate. I put out the meme, and I did a whole video of it, and people got mad with me. And I said, Deontay Wilder, nothing moves without his consent. And what that meant was the division was held up by way of arbitration. And what I meant by that was he could at any point just say, you know what, F it. Go ahead, Fury. Go ahead and fight AJ twice. He could have did that. But he didn't want to do it. So he was just sitting on the throne, relaxing, letting the Lord do what it was supposed to do. In this instance, because it worked out in his favor. And I put the picture of him at the top, just chilling. And at the bottom, you saw AJ, you saw Fury, you saw Usyk, and then you saw Joe Joyce. And it said, please let us fight. But nobody was doing anything because they wanted to see what was happening with the arbitration. So the reality is, Fury and his shenanigans and not wanting to honor his word was holding up the entire division. All he had to do was keep his word. What people don't remember is, or they ignore, and what the media won't tell you is that we could have had that third fight in October last year. Then we could have had it in December on the 5th, but he wanted to fight Takam and Caballero and all these other people. And then he said, I'll never fight the guy again because he insulted my family. That didn't age well at all. And there's things that happened in the court which led the arbitrator to sway the decision into Deontay's behavior. You know, Tay Jones could tell you more about it. You understand? But these are things that we knew. And there's something called want and need. People, you know, the detractors, I'm not really worried about the American fan base too much because they're detractors who are uneducated and they can't even explain why they don't like Deontay Wilder. You know, it's the dare I say, the Kobe Bryant Jordan comparisons, if you get what I'm saying. People that came up in my era, you know, we don't want to hear nothing. Jordan's the best, we don't want to hear it. And then when Kobe started to up his level of game and he started to be mentioned in the same sentence, it was like, no, we don't want to hear it. We were resisting for a little while. My point was, let the kid's career play out, and then we could judge him based off of what he's done.
Right.
All right? This is a similar thing with Deontay Wilder. It's taboo to mention him in the same sentence as Mike Tyson. It's taboo to say he tied Muhammad Ali's record. Look, he's done these things. He has a higher KO ratio than Mike Tyson. He does. That's just it. All right? You want to compare resumes? I already debunked all of that. All right? And the sad fact is, when you say, yo, look, he tied Muhammad Ali's 10 defense record, oh, well, they go as far to discredit the entire heavyweight division. Oh, well, there ain't no one here fighting today. And then I asked them, name all of Muhammad Ali's defenses. And they'll just stare at you with a blank stare. They stare at you with a blank stare. Every fighter has fought what we call a bum. Ask Joe Louis. Go look at it. We can't ask him, but go look at his record. Every fighter will have some fighters on there that you won't recognize. Name all of Ray Robinson's opponents. Name them. You can't. You can name some of the important ones, but I'm talking about like little casual people that like to regurgitate with people who act like they know things.
Right.
Okay? I mean, this is ridiculous. Don't discredit the entire division. There's work to be done out here. There are some decent fighters out here. And it all goes back to this. If Deontay Wilder was such easy work, he had the last piece of the puzzle. AJ should have been got this belt 3 years ago.
Absolutely.
He didn't do it.
Absolutely.
He didn't do it. And that's the fact. I'm not even talking bad about AJ. These are the facts. Remember $50 million? Remember that? Remember, we'll freeze them out? All of these things. I remember all of this stuff. So I say, look, let's just cut the nonsense. Fight. People talking about what makes sense for money. Look, if you're not on their team and you're not getting a piece of that pie, you shouldn't be talking like that. We are the consumer. Do we want these fights or not? That's it. That business and stuff, Stormy, this was not conversation. I was way young back then, but leading up to Hearns versus Hagler, were y'all talking about money?
No.
They weren't talking about money. They were talking about whooping each other's ass.
They were talking about getting at each other. Hagler started putting his hat on that said war. You know, it's like he would show up in public, you know. If they were talking about the fight, Hagler had his war hat on. He had dark shades on. He didn't want you to see his eyes. He just wanted to reflect rage, anger, and wanting to just get at Tommy. That's what that was all about. And Hearns didn't help the case either because he was talking his bit of trash. So it's like, you know, that's what it was about back then. That's what it was about.
Mean, Ray Robinson, based off of what I was told, was the original diva. But he still got in there and fought. He still got in there and fought. Sugar Ray Leonard was a diva, but he still got in there and fought, man. I mean, some people still have problems with him, but still. And this is where we lose it right here. This is where we lose it. All right? Between fighters, and don't get me wrong, I never liked the fact that some fighters walk away from the game with brain damage and nothing financially to show for it. I get it. You know, they get jerked around by managers or whatever. But we're in an era right now where there's more than enough education out there that you don't have to do that to yourself. Bud Crawford. All right, and I'm not going to take a dump on Bud. I'm just saying, I don't. You know, y'all already know what I'm saying. Bud, you're better than that. Get away from Bob. That's all I'm going to say about that.
But how about this, Drew? Check this out. And I don't know if you caught this earlier when I made the remarks about AJ and where he is in his career. But I'll just, you know, reiterate. He spent so much time running away from Wilder that he gave these other fighters an opportunity to develop.
Lord have mercy.
And so now they are all going to be in contention. He has, 4 belts? They're going to be in contention for all of those belts. He's got a mandatory WBO in Usyk right now. But you got Jarrell, the real big baby, Anderson out there. He's out there. You got Effie Ajaba out there. You got Joe Joyce out there. You got Danny Dubois, who's on the road back. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You got Philippe Herkovic, who is still coming on. It's like you done messed around and given these guys an opportunity to develop instead of just being busy and fighting. You could have fought some of them before they got to the point of where they are now dangerous. And AJ is a vulnerable champion. He's one of the most vulnerable champions of the modern time. And I saw your video earlier where you were speaking about Joyce, and this is the funny thing. All these guys got to do now is wait for those mandatories. He's got to fight them or give up a title. And what is he going to end up doing? Giving up all the titles? Because you know they're going to be ranked number 1. Each guy, you might get one of the guys who might be number 1 in both or 2 sanctioning bodies, but they're not going to put a guy number 1 in all 3 or 4, right? So it's like there's going to be an assassin waiting on him. And he hasn't gotten better since he defeated Prince Charles Martin. That's my particular take. He hasn't gotten better. In the meantime, off of his first one and only defeat, Deontay Wilder is showing marked improvement because they've given him the time. And if it doesn't come off that Fury fights him in the 3rd fight, woe to whoever is going to be the guy who gets in there with him. And guess what? This market improvement over what he was, and even he and his camp has now professed that this Wilder would beat the old Wilder.
That's right.
When he starts fighting these young guys, he's going to be knocking them out like bowling pins. You watch what I say. Mark my words. It don't matter if they're younger and they strong and they got a good punch and this and that. Because now he's enjoying boxing again. He's observing teaching and instruction. And when he sees the success behind what he's added, it's going to make him feel even more confident. And you're going in against a more complete fighter now. And these young guys don't have the experience that he has. He's going to be knocking these guys the hell out all over again. And AJ is not that good. So he's going to be slipping. He may slip against Usyk. People better wake up. Because this is not, listen, man, this is not a cakewalk here. There is a resurgence in the heavyweight division, but they've been messing around and muddling about so much that they haven't seen the game catch up. But you and I and us that create content and things like, we've been watching this stuff the whole while.
The whole time.
Your thoughts on that, Drew, what I just shared about how he's getting ready to get in trouble.
You know, I agree with you wholeheartedly because the time for AJ, in my opinion, his chances of beating Deontay was maybe 3.5 years ago. Before he got complete, before he teamed up with Malik Scott, because I'm seeing him do things, and either I was saying to myself, either he's a fast learner, or what he was used to doing and got away from it for a little while, which is what he said. He said he got away from the basics and he just fell in love with his power. So he admitted that. So now they messed up because he went back to the drawing board, and that's where he's showing respect to the game, respect to his camp, and respect to his opponent. Because he actually went back to the drawing board and said, okay, I'm going to up the game. In fact, they said after the loss, they were repairing the win. They were repairing the loss when they left the ring. They already had their mind made up about the third fight. But, you know, the time for AJ to have gotten Wilder, his best time was about 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago. He should have got this out the way, man, because now I don't see him beating Deontay. All right. And to add to that, he has all the straps. He has the rest of the straps. And the bullseye on his back and his chest and his forehead is nice and bright. He's going to have problems with these guys. FA job was slow, but the guy got cracks, man. Big Baby is a problem. And I'm going to tell you what, even if Big Baby Miller comes back, he's still going to be a problem.
Yeah.
I mean, AJ, this is nothing is a cakewalk here. I mean, how about another fight with Andy Ruiz? If that happens, for business sake, he's going to have a problem. This is nothing in the heavyweight division is a cakewalk. This is a very good time to be a supporter of the heavyweight division. And to add to that, this Usyk situation, I didn't really, pay much attention. I'm gonna go into depth. I might go into depth in it a little later. But in that article, Sam Jones referred to one of the titles Joyce picking up will be vacant. And I just found that strange. I didn't harp on it too much in the video. But I said, why would he mention Joyce picking up a vacant strap? What the hell was that? Now, I'm going to do a little more research on that. But I just found that odd. So what I'm saying is they are already setting up to duck Deontay. They didn't mention Wilder in that article. Why? Because he doesn't want it to happen. But I honestly believe the people that know, they know Wilder, if the fight happens on October 9th, like I hope it does, they know Wilder's going to decapitate Fury. They don't even want to talk about it. Wilder gets that WBC strap back, that changes everything. Watch as they start dropping titles and not fulfilling mandatories and I'm telling you, because we've been through this before. Threatening to drop titles, and I don't want to fight this guy. If you make me, I'll just drop the title. It's going to be one big quagmire, man. They want Undisputed now, assuming that Fury maintains the WBC strap. When he loses it, watch Undisputed be an afterthought. This is where the atmosphere we're living in right now. This is disgusting. But Stormy, you're absolutely correct in everything you're saying. You're absolutely correct. This is a pot of stew right now, and I can't say that AJ is the dominant force. I can't say he's the alpha. I can't. He's vulnerable, man. And can anyone honestly say that he steamrolls Jared Anderson, S.A. Jagba, and in shape Andy Ruiz? Can we honestly say he can do it? I can't say that he's dominant. No,
dude. There's a list.
No.
There's a list of about 7 fighters, bro, and we haven't even mentioned Luis King Kong Ortiz. Huh?
He'll never fight him. He'll never fight him.
Exactly, but I'm just saying, it's like if you look at it, you got 2 fighters out there who ain't willing to fight guys in the top 10. That's AJ and Dillian White. AJ has 4 belts in his possession at this time. Dillian White is just a buffer man for the whole Matchroom promotion and the heavyweight division in particular for Ed Hearn. And I loved your video on that as well, because when you talked about that and then you shine that light on, hey, Prince Charles Martin is like, hey, Dillian, come get this smoke here. You want to fight someone? You want to come to the U.S.? I'm here. I'm available. You see, this exposes exactly what we're talking about here. The whole idea, and it doesn't get any more simpler than this for all our listeners and viewers out there. The whole idea is Hearn and Matchroom, they want to have possession over the heavyweight division with those belts in their camp, within their promotion. That's what this is all about. AJ happens to be, as I stated earlier, one of the most vulnerable champions of modern day. Currently in boxing today, he is the most vulnerable champ. And to have all of these belts and to have to defend them against someone, they are really calculating right now. They're probably working with their brain trust behind the scenes, saying that if we do put these belts on the line with someone who's able to take them from AJ, we've got to devise a means of being able to still secure that within our camp. That's what it's about. It's about a power play. So they're going to have to find the guy that's going to replace AJ for them. And a lot of these other guys are on different promotions and everything, which is great, which makes their job even harder. This is why AJ is not real active. This is why. You understand? So when you look at it in that regard, remember this, and I'll share this little bit of information for people. When Buster Douglas beat Mike Tyson back in February of 1990, Don King had control over the heavyweight division. He had all the fighters in his camps, the heavyweights, pretty much. If you were an independent, you had to sign options with Don to get a shot at Mike Tyson's title. It's one of the main reasons that Evander Holyfield was his number one contender for 3 years. Okay? Evander was with Main Events. But check out this, people, which killed it for Don. When Buster fought Mike Tyson in Tokyo, Buster Douglas was a Don King fighter as well. But what many people don't know is his fight with Mike Tyson was Buster's last contracted obligation to Don King. So he beats Tyson, knocks him out, and then doesn't have to fight for Don King anymore. How about that? How about that? Huh?
That was luck of the draw.
Right? You talk about hitting a home run. He hit a grand slam. Okay?
Yeah.
So, yes. Yes.
Let me ask you, Stormy. Honestly, and I get mixed opinions about this. How much of AJ's behavior is his own and Eddie Hearn protecting his investment?
When you say his behavior, what do you mean specifically? Because if you want to talk about these quotes and stuff that he gives when he does interviews and stuff, I can go in on that. If you're talking about something else, what is it that you're saying specifically?
Like, for instance, for example, the fight that happened 3 years ago, before this COVID, when it was hot. When Wilder agreed to take the flat rate, and we remember all of this, the
$50 million.
$50 million, and I agree to take the $12 million as long as you agree to take that, and BFTV could explain it in way in depth. But we know we were all there for it. How much of this is Eddie Hearn protecting his investment as opposed to AJ just remaining silent and just acting accordingly? What I'm asking is, do you really think that, how much of this do you think is business and AJ really wanting to fight? Business, Eddie Hearn protecting his investment, and AJ saying, damn, I really didn't want this fight, but I have to listen to this guy.
Well, I think there's a multifaceted answer for that. For one, I think that AJ was groomed to be in this position from day one.
Yes.
When he won the Olympic gold for the UK, they saw him as someone that they could market from over there, and all it would require is that they get an opportunity at a belt. Now, who knew that Tyson Fury was going to become the POS that he is by after his victory over Klitschko, he would end up having to drop the belts because he was found to be dirty and all of that, and went into cocaine binges and all of that, and they stripped him, and the belts became available again. Okay,
Right.
so Hearn bought his way to AJ's first title by offering Prince Charles Martin $9 million. Okay,
Right.
which was totally absurd. Anybody that saw Prince Charles Martin in the fight where he won the IBF belt that was vacant, when he fought the guy and the guy had an injury and couldn't even finish the fight.
Couldn't even move.
Yeah,
Couldn't finish the fight. That's right.
Charles Martin won by default, basically. It ain't like he beat
Right.
Bermain Stavern like Deontay Wilder did, when Stavern was still good, by the way. And Charles Martin looked like a prospect. He didn't look like a world title fighter. He happened to get, and AJ's people recognized that AJ was at least better than he. Okay,
Right.
and they went for
Right.
it. Now, this is the thing. Before that, they were talking about AJ being the future and this and that. And don't forget, he had risen to like number 4 in the WBC when Wilder was the champ, right? So he would have eventually got his number 1 contending shot. But all of a sudden, he vacated the WBC and went over there and got that IBF strap. Then AJ was no longer considered by a prospect. It was like, oh, pump the brakes. He's still learning and this and that. Remember? They were saying this stuff.
Yep.
But it's like, okay, they realize we got a heavyweight title in the UK. How can we build upon this? They convinced the WBA to make the WBA belt available when AJ went in to fight Klitschko. That was test number 1 that he failed because Klitschko was supposed to knock him out. And he was so faded that he couldn't follow up. So when people say AJ fought one of the best fights and that was the best I've ever seen Klitschko. No, it wasn't the best you ever seen Klitschko. But the thing about it was 2 years out of the game, coming back against a 23-year-old guy, okay?
40 years old.
It's like, come on, man. You just saw Manny Pacquiao go in there against a 35-year-old, and he's 42, and you saw, what is he saying? My legs was cramping, and, he can't see, and this and that, whatever it is. But it's called old age, okay? It happens.
Right.
Now, AJ started following the mantra of what they tell him publicly to say and everything, and he was doing that. But he got caught up in his own hype when he started talking about challenging Wilder. And Wilder said, I was going to let the little pup develop. But since he wanted to put my name in his mouth, let's not wait. Let's make the date. Remember that?
Make the date. That's right.
That's when AJ all of a sudden started having to backtrack. But trying to come across as tough, because boxing is a warrior sport, right? He's trying to, anytime Wilder wants it, he can get it and this and that. 50 million would do it for me, and they come up with the money. AJ was like, okay, let's roll. Eddie Hearn pulled him in the back room and said, you dumb idiot. Go out there and get on that cart with some orangutans while I clean this up.
Wow.
Huh? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So in the meantime, the next time you heard from AJ, he was saying, I won't sell my soul for $50 million.
50 million. That's right.
Huh?
That's right.
Because Hearn told him, fool, this is generational wealth we're talking about with these titles here. They bought Joseph Parker's belt, the WBO.
Sure
they
did.
bought it. Because the Wilder camp was in position to make an offer to Parker for a unification bout. And they threw that money at Parker, and he went the AJ route. So, politics. But you could basically say at the end of the day, Matchroom and the Hearn family, they bought the heavyweight titles that AJ has. And he never beat a real fighter for any of those titles. Never. Deontay got his out the mud. When he was contending for Bermane Stavern, Vladimir Klitschko said, well, listen, I want to be undisputed. Why don't you take some step aside and let me fight Stavern? Wilder says, no, I don't want to take step aside, but I'll tell you what, after I beat Stavern, I'll fight you right away. Vladimir, after that, lost all interest in becoming undisputed, and he went the Tyson Fury route. Huh?
That's right. And that's what happened, ladies and gentlemen. That's what happened.
And not only that, but when Wilder became the WBC champion, everybody who was anybody in the division, with the exception of Luis King Kong Ortiz, they didn't want to go the Wilder route because he's knocking everybody's head off. Okay? So it's like they figured they would line up on the AJ side of things. And that's how it ended up like it is. But they did not become a power broker with AJ being a stellar warrior in the ring. All of a sudden, once he held those titles, that's when they said, oh, well, we can't rush too fast. He's still learning and this and that.
He's still a baby. Yeah, that's right.
You can't, listen, you can't talk about putting the condom on the Jimmy after you done stuck it in, huh?
That's right.
You can't do that. That's ass backwards. It don't work that way, huh? So this is exactly what it is. And now that it's been shown that he is vulnerable as he is, they're trying to pick spots to put him to fight, but the walls are closing in because all the other young dudes have developed now. They're ready. They're where he was when he challenged Prince Charles, right? These other guys are right there now, and they're better than he was. Jared Anderson can beat AJ right now. If he went and fought on this September date instead of Usyk, Jared Anderson would be a unified heavyweight champion of the world. Tell me I'm lying.
Guys that are not going to get that shot. No, you telling the truth. You know, there's certain guys that are not going to get that shot. I think the young guns that he'll give a shot to, as it stands right now, in my opinion, he'll give it to Daniel Dubois because Daniel Dubois has an L and he looks vulnerable there. So let's say he goes on like a 3-fight win streak and then he's in line. Whatever sanction about it, he's a part of. AJ will give him a fight right there on UK soil, and they will pump that up as one of the biggest fights in UK history. Not world history, UK history. I watch language. I pay attention to detail.
Absolutely.
You know, when I care. You know, so, you know, I mean, look, but I know the play. I don't even think he'll fight Joe Joyce, to be honest, because that's not an easy fight for him. If this guy Joe Joyce is walking through, because AJ's not a knockout artist like Deontay is. If this guy will walk through, Joe Joyce will walk through 12 punches and land one and he can hurt you, that's not a fight that AJ wants, because that means he's going to be on his bike for 12 rounds. I mean, he's not used to that. He's not that kind of guy. Contrary to what he did that and got away with Andy because Andy wasn't in shape. You understand? But being on your bike for 12 rounds and this guy is taking all of your best shots, that's not the kind of guy AJ is. So you're absolutely right, Stormy. The walls have closed in on him, and all he did was back himself into the corner. He was supposed to be busy. 2 key fights every year.
Yep.
And he'd have probably caught Big Baby Anderson by now. He'd have probably caught a Jogba by now. And we'd have gave him full credit for those. Right. Of course, there'd have been some people saying, oh, well, you know, they were a little green. Fine. Well, they can always come back in the next 2 years or so and get back in the rankings and work their way back to a rematch.
But I'd have gave him credit for that. But all of this ducking and dodging and posturing for business and then mystifying the whole process by saying he sells out Wembley, the seats are $20. If there was a Wembley stadium anywhere in the United States and the seats are $20, everyone would go to that fight because there was something to do. The reality is a lot of people don't go to these fights because A, they're not big boxing fans like that, and B, nosebleed seats be like $300, depending on who's fighting. So let's be honest with the people. AJ's a rock star over there. He's a rock star there. And I'm not disrespecting him. I'm telling you the truth. AJ's a rock star over there, but let's be honest. The guy was manufactured. He was manufactured. And it was a nice try. And that was Eddie doing his job. And to the most extent, he did it. Because he got a lot of people fooled over here in the States. But I have to tell people, this guy's not quite the star that you think he is. Pay attention to what happens. And no sooner than I said that, Andy Ruiz situation happened. And putting aside the stuff that we know that happened behind the scenes, the bottom line is he lost. And when he came back in the rematch, he didn't fight a dominating, stick your chest out performance. He fought on his bike and he got away with it because Andy ballooned up to 300 pounds. What is he going to do?
He fought safe, like he was, like he was just trying not to engage, but just happy with outscoring the guy and staying out of harm's way. That's how he fought against a guy who was woefully out of shape and fat and couldn't do much. Right.
So what's he going to do with Jared Anderson chasing him all around the ring, goddamn, or all goddamn night? What's he going to do? What's he going to do with Deontay Wilder with this new system he's incorporating? Boxing, setting up shots, throwing short hooks. What is AJ going to do fighting off the back? They talk about Deontay can't fight off the back foot. Not only is that a lie, but I haven't seen AJ do it either. I see him throw a jab and sidestep and get away because he don't want to get hit. He's not the best boxer. He's not. So I want to know, he got problems now. What's he going to do with a lumbering F.A. Ajagba who could look him straight in the eye? All right, now F.A.'s flawed too because we've seen him hit the floor. But what happens when he lands on AJ? Because we already say AJ ain't got the best chin in the world. Tell me what happens. So AJ's not a dominant force. He's a moving target. So it was easy to move him around now, but now things have gotten worse because I bet he wish he could jump in the time machine and go back 4 years and stop some of this stuff before it starts. But it's too late now.
Too late.
He got problems.
Too late.
He got problems. Well, I'm going to clear up these lines, Stormy. I know there's probably a bunch of brothers trying to get in, man. You already know what it is. Drew Titan, Bronx on deck. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. Shout out to my sensei, Stormybman. And I'm going to see you in it on tonight, family.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. Thanks for calling in, bro. And make sure you do it again, bro, because people like to hear what you got to say as well, man.
No doubt, family. I'm on it.
All right. Peace.
Peace.
That's my man, Drew Titan. Boy, when we get to talking, we be cooking, man. We get to cooking, boy. You guys get your plates ready, because that's all I can say, because we're going to put some good food on them plates for you, man, once Drew Titan and I get to going, bro. Yes, sir. But, hey, man, ain't nothing like hearing it like it is, right? Telling it like it is and what can be done about it. That's what you get here, man. 1,000%. I see you. It says we got 43 in the building and 87. Can we try to push those 87 thumbs up to 100? Can we get as close to 100 as possible, please? I know some of you may have come in and forgot to hit the like button or whatever, but please hit that like button and just let's try to drive it all the way up to 100, man. You know, Stormy likes to promote those algorithms for the channel. We can get something done with that. Yes, sir. And salute to my man Drew Titan for his call. Yes, Bruce Goals, it was a great call. And I see Devin Blocker out there. Salute to you, Devin Blocker. Jelly Bean is out there as well. Shade Girl, the Queen, channel member. She says, salute, family. I was finally able to catch you live again. Yeah, you did. And thank you for stopping through, sister. Who else we had out there that I didn't get a chance to acknowledge? Boli is out there. Antoine Reed is out there. Says, salute, Stormy B. Salute to you. And Snacks B, I got Snacks B on his super chat. And let's see who else. Ghost Bond Squad. He said AJ, Dillian White, Andy Ruiz, and Tyson Fury all don't want no real work. You ain't never lied there, man. Ghost Bond Squad, you ain't never lied. They don't want that real work, huh? But you got to roll your sleeves up and you may get a little bit dirty, huh? They don't want it. Boli says, yeah, Hergovitz looks tough. Yeah, he's a big dude. You know, he's a big plotting guy and he has strength and size. And, you know, that's not going to do it for you if you got a talented, skilled, technical guy who has that as well. So it's like he's limited, but he can beat some people. Renee Box Young says, Stormy or Chat, do you think Mayweather has something to do with fighters nowadays with the whole money craze? It has some type of influence, but, you know, Mayweather's been out of professional boxing for a while. You can't continue to blame him for certain things. You have to blame the short-sightedness of the fighters of today. They're very short-sighted. They don't want to be self-motivated. Their motivations are from material and economic, you know what I mean? And when it comes to the economic, they don't want to lose that loftiness, that position that they have. So there are limitations. It's a shame. Renee says Hunter is out there too. Yep, absolutely, man. And, you know, but it is what it is, man. It is what it is. But thank you, Eric R. He says, great show. Appreciate you. Let me hit Devin Blocker up. Got Devin Blocker here. And I'll mod you up, Devin Blocker. Okay, Devin Blocker, I just modded you up, brother, because you out here as a channel member. All my channel members need to be modded up. So if you're a channel member and you haven't been modded up, Stormy will mod you up. I just forgot to hit a couple of you with that. So just know that I will be looking for that going forward. Yeah, buddy. So, yes, sir. But hey, man, it's been a great show. We've been out here for a little bit and a little longer than we normally go, which is okay because it gave a couple of those calls to come in. And, you know, I don't limit the calls because I want people to be able to get their expressions out, their thoughts and everything. And we were able to do that today. So it's important that that takes place. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, great show, great call-ins. We had some tremendous insight from all of our callers and some great conversation going on in the chat, man, because you guys were talking about some good stuff too. Although I couldn't comment on everything while I'm conducting the show, I saw and read a lot of your comments out there. So I really appreciate everybody that supported the show today. We got people out there. Let's see. Eric R. is saying, smash the like button, subscribe and share. Click the bell icon for... That's right. Appreciate that, Eric R. He says, I don't blame Mayweather for today's fighters. Canelo, Keith Thurman, and Danny Garcia, AJ brought on this recent mentality of today's fighter. Yes, some of them have been influential, no doubt. Hamza S. says, fighters had bigger paydays in the 80s, so why blame Mayweather? Plus, let's not forget PBF fought tough fights and was ducked. Yeah. You know, it's funny when you show the truth in front of people's faces, sometimes they get a little upset, you know, but what's that old saying? A hit dog will yell. That's how you say it, man. Snack B says, I'm about to become one in a second. Hamza is out there. Okay, Hamza, I see you. Now I see you when you wrote in the chat, I was able to see you. So you're now modded up as well. Hamza S. Appreciate you, bro. And yeah, Shade Girl, check us out from the beginning. This was a tremendous show. And only though we had a few calls, but we got a chance to talk about some really good stuff. That's the one thing about this show. When we get to cooking on a subject, you know, we can roll with that. And that's where the greatness of the content comes, from having that shared dialogue. So I don't want to restrict people's calls to a certain time limit where you can't get that conversation out. And once that conversation begins, you have to let it take place. It's organic. You know, it's not scripted. So that's where we try to do things. And when you guys want to, you know, call in, when those lines open up, call in. It's like, you know, don't be waiting around and this and that. Be ready to call when a call ends. That's the best way to do it, because that way you can get your pound of flesh in, so to speak. I like to say it that way, the pound of flesh. Let's see here. But it's great stuff, man. Great stuff. Okay, we at 91 as far as our thumbs up. Can we get 9 more? 9 more thumbs up to push it to 100. Anybody out there got it in them to share that thumbs up, the like button for Stormybman? It would really be appreciated, man. Can we push those likes up? It shows a lot, man. It shows how the show is taken by you, the listeners and viewing audiences, man. We need that type of support. Let's see us make it, man. Let's see us make it. What else I got here? Trying to. Jay Gibson is showing the bombs. Eric R. says that Hamza S. Wright. I remember the late, great Emmanuel Stewart and George Foreman encouraging Shane and Oscar to leave young Floyd alone with that high risk, low reward talk. That pissed me off. Devin Blocker says 7 deadly sins. Yeah, man. So, but we're going to get ready to get on out of here. We're at the 1 o'clock hour. I usually end at 12:30. So we had a great show today. I want to say salute to the mighty LDBC, everybody that was out there that came to support the show, that showed support for this whole thing about the call-in with Stormybman. We've done a great thing in creating this particular format, and I love you guys for that. We're at 95. Can we get 5 more? 5 more before we go off the air. Just get those likes up, family. That's all you got to do. My man Blue Blood Sports TV is out there. Says salute to the OG Stormybman. Salute to you, Blue Blood. Glad to see you out there, man. It means a lot when a brother like yourself shows up out there, man. It lets people know that's an official endorsement right there. So please just hit that, like button, people. We at 95. Get 5 more, and then we can be up out of here, man. That's right. And then I see someone snuck back in there and put 1 thumbs down. And we know what that means. That's just one of them people that they ain't happy with their own life, sitting at home in the basement, eating toast sandwiches and everything, ain't got no butter or cheese or meat to put on it, and you're mad. Well, you know what? You're going to be in that basement and you're going to be by yourself because everybody else going to be out here hitting the like button for Stormy, and they going to have a party and they going to enjoy this cooking. You understand? That's exactly what's going to happen. Salute to Diana Branch, the queen out there with her super chat. She says, gotta support. Salute to the Wiseman, Stormy B. I appreciate that, Diana. We really appreciate you coming by. I noticed that you had been showing up and showing support, and I like that, and we appreciate that. Let's see what we got here. I just modded up the queen, Diana Branch, as well. So salute to you. sister, you are now a mod on the channel as well. So, Snacks B says, you go 97 on my end. Okay, 97. Devin Blocker says, facts. Yeah, so if we got 97, 3 more, and then we can go. Can we do it? Can we do it? You know, you guys saw Blue Blood come out there, salute him, and then go ahead and hit that like button. See, some of y'all be holding them likes in your pocket like they nickels or something. You know, like you at the casino with the slot machines and you got them coins and you don't want to spend them. It's like, man, go ahead and put them in there. Life is a gamble, right? But when you're gambling over here with Stormy B, man, hey, man, that's a good investment right there. A very good investment. So just know that, huh? Your money is well spent. Snacks B says, sitting in the barn, eating with the cows. Okay. Jay Gibson is out there in that super chat. He's saluting with the bombs and the crown. I appreciate that, Jay Gibson, man. Really appreciate you supporting the channel, bro. Devin Blocker says 98. Okay, we're at 98. So that means 2 more. You see how hard it is to pull those likes out? Now I know what Blue Blood be saying when he be saying, man, come on, man. You guys, you come in here and you listen, you get this content and everything, and you too lazy to hit the like button. Just stingy with the likes, man. But we'll be here and be one of the first ones before the show go live and just don't hit the like button. When I go over there and I hit the like button for people, man, that's the first thing I do before I write in the chat, man. You know what I mean? Especially if it's somebody I'm supporting. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous, man. Devin Blocker is laughing about it like nickels. Yeah, man. Stingy, man. Stingy. He says 99. Look at him. They did. You know, it's like trying to get that last bit of Heinz ketchup out the bottle, right? And you hitting the bottle. You hitting. Come on, drop it out, drop it out. You know, you got like 4 or 5 French fries on the plate and you were trying to get that ketchup out the bottle and you hitting it and you hitting it and you can see it's ketchup in the bottle, but it won't come out, huh? Look at them. Stingy folks, man. Stingy. I tell you, man. And sitting out there just looking. And they like, nah, I ain't gonna hit it. It's just like, will you hit the damn like button, man, so we can get up out of here? Dang. You know what I mean? He's like, Eric R says they be holding them likes like they hold the sweet and sour sauce at McDonald's. Yeah, right? You ask, can I have a couple of packs? They be like, how many you want? I want 2. They'll give you 1. We ain't got no more. You know? Or they don't give you none and you have to ask for them. Huh? Salute to Artman Boxing out there. He says, just hit the like button. There you go. It's like, just hit the doggone like button, please. And he's like, Devin Block is like 100. Yeah, there we go. And on my end, it's now saying 101. Man, I tell you, I had to draw that out of you guys like the nurse trying to get that vein that they can't find in your arm when they taking a blood sample, man. That's crazy, bro. That is crazy. But you guys did it. A well round of applause to all of you out there, man, that came out today supporting the channel, supporting the show. I really appreciate this. This was fun, man. We did some good stuff today, had a great conversation. And that's what this show is all about, the Stormy B Man call in. It's called Answering the Bell. Artman says, shout out to Stormy. Shout out to you as well, brother. And we really, Snack B says in Blue Blood's voice, 100 likes. There you go. And I appreciate this, man. So we're going to get on up out of here. I'll see you guys later tonight on Drew Titan's channel for his evening show, man. And I'll be on there with him. But shout out to everybody that's out there. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday afternoon. And we will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.